If you're an e-commerce store, I have a crazy idea for you that most e-commerce stores will turn their nose up at and say, it's crazy, it can never work. But I'm here to show you that it can work and you can actually test it. So let's dive in. So what we're looking at today is basically a standard purchase funnel, a purchase drop-off funnel for an e-commerce store. And every e-commerce store has something that looks exactly like this. Your numbers will obviously differ on your side. But if you jump into analytics, every e-commerce store has these 5 stages that a user goes through before they make a purchase. And the stages are as follows if you're not familiar with this. So a user starts a session, so we call it a session start. A whole bunch of users drop off at that stage before they view a product. From there, the user progresses, they add something to the cart, they then check out, and finally they make a purchase. Now, when analyzing a report like this or a funnel like this, the most important thing is to recognize that there's always at one dominant factor or at most 2 dominant factors that result in these abandonment rates, these drop-offs. So I'll explain the first one. So the first one is usually the most aggressive. So in this case, we can see it's 87% drop-off from starting a session to viewing a product. And almost always this can be attributed to the dominant factor here is poor traffic quality. And how we know that is just if we kind of like tear it apart, that if a user gets to the site and doesn't even look at a product, usually it's the wrong user. So either coming through a lot of poor social traffic or even poor Google traffic, doesn't matter. But that's usually the reason at that stage. The stage we're going to focus on today for this crazy, bold, sometimes making idea, but hopefully not in your case, is the final stage, which is the checkout to purchase conversion rate stage. And almost always the 2 dominant factors that result in people abandoning the final part of their journey is either a technical challenge, so a payment gateway problem, or secondly, a delivery cost challenge. And delivery cost is what we're going to focus on today, and that's the idea today. And delivery cost is probably the most hated aspect for any user. And the reason people hate delivery costs is that they see it as an unnecessary expense which is levied on them for buying online. If they go into a store, there's obviously no delivery fee. And yes, delivery fee has a lot of value because they're getting their goods that way, but it's not perceived that way. It's perceived as an expense which adds 0 value to their life. So the crazy hack that e-commerce stores, most of them at least, won't try is what I'm about to suggest, which is absorbing the delivery cost on behalf of the customer. Now, why would you do that? And the reason is this 49.1%, or in your case, maybe 50% or something similar to that. The most common drop-off rate in this final checkout to purchase stage is 50%, which means half of the people at this stage still drop out. And they've gone through a lot of pain to get to stage number 1. And there's a lot of interest because they wouldn't have gotten so far down the line if they didn't intend to buy. And the idea is that how do we get rid of that delivery fee pain? And the easy way is that we'll absorb it, i.e. the e-commerce store. Now, the question is, why would we do that? Well, of course we do that because we can help the conversion rate at this point. If we can just change that 50% drop-off at that final stage to 25%, essentially our revenue increases by 50% overnight, literally by doing nothing else. Now, of course, there's a pay to do that. There's an expense to do that. We now absorbing the fees, our margins drop, our profit per item sold drops, and so on and so on. Yes, but it's a simple maths exercise. If our margins drop by the 50 to 70 Rand, whatever the case is, but our revenue increases by 50%, maybe that's okay. And that's what we're trying to achieve here. And the beauty is that it's super easy to test this on your own store. You don't have to have a lifetime commitment to try this. You can test it for a week. You can run a special for a week to say free delivery this week. You can then in that week, or you should in that week, monitor this final checkout conversion rate intently, because this is what we're trying to do. Does this halve? Does it even go better than that? And if that's the case, then all we have to do is put our numbers together. Is an increase in 50% in our store revenue acceptable, knowing that our margins decrease for every purchase that goes through the store? And that's the hack I'd love you to test. If it does work for you, please let me know. If it doesn't work for you, please don't let me know. No, let me know either way. I'd love to know how powerful this can be for you. And the stores that I think it's extremely powerful for are stores that have a inherently in-store purchasable product. So if you sell furniture, if you sell clothing that people want to try on, and there's this hesitation to buy online, those are stores that typically experience the most aggressive drop-off rates in this final stage. And those are the stores I think will get the most benefit from this. So give it a bash. All you can lose is 1 week of delivery fees. That's it. And there's so much more to gain by getting greater revenue indefinitely if this does work for you. Good luck and let me know.